Most men go through life chasing the same three things: love, approval, and happiness from women. They believe if they give enough, prove enough, and stay loyal enough, they'll earn these rewards. But more often than not, they end up confused, heartbroken, or trapped in a situation they never wanted. 2 centuries ago, a German philosopher named Arthur Schopenhauer saw straight through this illusion. He didn't just question romantic love, he dissected it. And what he uncovered was so raw, so unapologetically brutal, that most men today still refuse to accept it. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly where the deception begins and how to reclaim control over your life. Schopenhauer didn't see love as the poets and storytellers described it, not as a perfect meeting of souls, nor as the fulfillment of destiny. He saw it as nature's cleverest trick, a biological mechanism designed for one thing: reproduction. That surge of emotion you feel when you meet someone attractive? That obsessive belief that she's the one? It isn't magic. It's your brain running calculations, silently assessing fertility, health, and genetic compatibility. For men, this often means being drawn to youth and beauty. For women, it's about status, security, and strength. Not because women are shallow, but because for most of human history, these traits meant survival for her and her children. Schopenhauer's point was simple. What we call love is nature's bait, a feeling so powerful it blinds us to the fact that it exists for a purpose beyond our personal happiness. Schopenhauer once wrote, "Love is the ultimate aim of almost all human effort." But he didn't mean this as a compliment to romance. He meant that people will sacrifice almost anything in pursuit of love, only to find that the feeling changes or disappears once its biological mission is accomplished. Think about it. How many men have worked themselves to exhaustion, changed their entire lives, and even risked their own safety for a woman, only to have her walk away without hesitation? How many marriages fall apart once the passion fades? This isn't a coincidence. It's part of nature's design. Women's attraction isn't based on fairness, loyalty, or gratitude. It's driven by instinct. Schopenhauer observed that women choose partners through a process nature hardwired into them. Loyalty matters less than whether the man can provide strength, stability, and value. A man's devotion is meaningless if it isn't paired with these qualities. And before you think this is unfair, remember, it's not about good or bad, it's about survival. For most of history, a woman's best chance at survival and raising healthy children was to select the man who could offer the most resources and protection. This truth is visible everywhere today. Look at dating apps, where a small percentage of men get most of the attention. Look at divorce courts, where the man who gave everything can still lose almost everything. Look at history, where powerful rulers risked their thrones for women who later betrayed them. Most men believe that if they love deeply enough, sacrifice enough, and prove their worth, they will be rewarded with loyalty. Schopenhauer warned against this belief. To be loved, one must not be just, but clever. In other words, love is not earned through endless service. In fact, service can often lower your perceived value. Why? Because women are drawn to men who don't need to serve. Independence signals strength. Constant availability signals dependence. And dependence kills attraction. This explains why so many so-called good guys finish last. Not because they are bad people, but because they've been taught the wrong strategy. Schopenhauer called it the tragedy of possession. The excitement isn't in having, it's in the pursuit. Once the chase ends, biology looks for the next challenge. For men, this means that clinging too tightly, making her your entire purpose, and centering your life around her almost guarantees she will lose interest. And here's the twist. This isn't about blaming women. It's about recognizing the way human biology works. Once you understand this, you stop trying to win love through submission and start living in a way that naturally commands respect. One of Schopenhauer's harshest truths is that women hold the leverage in the early stages of relationships, not because society gave it to them, but because nature designed them to be the selectors. A woman's sexual value peaks early, often in her late teens or 20s, while a man's value often takes decades to build, through career, status, and self-mastery. This creates an imbalance. Young women can attract high-value men immediately, while young men must work to become high-value over time. This delay is why many men grow frustrated or resentful, but resentment doesn't change reality. Strategy does. Schopenhauer also pointed out that women tend to focus more on the present moment, whereas men often think in long-term strategies. In evolutionary terms, this made sense. Women's survival often depended on reading social cues, emotions, and relationships in real time. This present moment focus gives women an edge in emotional intelligence. They can read body language, tone shifts, and subtle changes in behavior with incredible accuracy. In relationships, this means a woman may notice a man's insecurity before he even realizes he's showing it. And once she senses weakness, attraction begins to erode. In Schopenhauer's time, these dynamics played out face to face. Today, technology has magnified them. Social media has turned attention into currency, and the average man is unknowingly paying into this system every day, liking, commenting, and chasing validation from women who may never even acknowledge him in real life. This is the attention economy, and most men are the unpaid laborers in it. Schopenhauer believed that female love is conditional, tied to utility. A man is loved for what he provides, not purely for who he is. If his value drops, the bond weakens. This doesn't make women cruel. It makes them human. Men, too, have conditions for attraction. They're just different. But because men are often taught to believe in unconditional love, they're more likely to be blindsided when those conditions aren't met. Schopenhauer divided men into two categories: those who serve and those who are served. The men who serve give endlessly, hoping for appreciation that never comes. The men who are served command respect and value by building themselves first. This isn't about arrogance, it's about understanding that value attracts. Desperation repels. One of the most important lessons Schopenhauer offered is that women rarely compete in the same way men do. Men often confront directly. Women influence indirectly. From the first date to the end of a relationship, women use subtle tests to gauge a man's strength. The compliance test. Will he change his plans instantly for her? The frame test. Will he hold his ground or cave under emotional pressure? The investment test. Is he chasing her harder than she's chasing him? Most men fail these tests without realizing they were being tested at all. Women are most drawn to men who don't need them to feel complete. When a man makes a woman his entire source of happiness, she loses respect for him. Not because she wants to, but because biology interprets neediness as weakness. The paradox is that the less you need her, the more she wants to be with you. Here's the truth most men avoid. The real enemy isn't women. It's the man's own illusions. Schopenhauer understood that the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves, that love will fix us, that someone else will make us whole, that devotion guarantees loyalty. The men who escape this trap are the ones who stop chasing and start building. Schopenhauer's philosophy offers a blueprint for male independence. 1. Economic sovereignty. Control your money, control your life. 2. Philosophical depth. Think for yourself. Cut through comforting lies. 3. Physical mastery. Build a body that reflects your discipline. These aren't just self-improvement cliches. They are survival tools in a world where value must be demonstrated, not demanded. Schopenhauer once wrote, "The safest way of not being very miserable is not to expect to be very happy." This isn't hopelessness, it's protection. By lowering expectations, you free yourself from disappointment and take responsibility for your own fulfillment. When you stop expecting women, society, or anyone else to hand you happiness, you start creating it yourself. The man who understands these truths stops being a chaser. He becomes the prize. He stops resenting women for their nature and starts living in harmony with it, not as a servant, but as a leader. The choice is yours. Keep playing the game blind, or see the truth and live on your own terms.